What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. In this crazy world we are trying to navigate in, a lot of our thoughts and feelings come from our experiences. For most, we have all seen, been through, or done something that we don't want anyone to know about and that we try to keep a secret. It could be trauma or pain from growing up, going through a lot, saying a lot too early on. In that case, a lot of people push those memories and experiences so far back in their minds, they act like they are not real or don't even exist. If you are unfortunate enough to remember every bad thing that has ever happened to you or that you saw, it takes some down a dark path. Depression, PTSD, using things like alcohol or harder substances to cope or try to escape. But some live with life-changing secrets. Maybe from the things you thought you had to do at a certain point in your life to survive, or something so bad it could put you or the people you love at risk. So some people try to keep that thing locked deep inside because you don't want the people around you to look at you different. A lot of us have fought or fight certain demons to stay sane out here. Some depend on a higher power and leave it at the altar. Others simply try to move on, maybe relocate, get a fresh start in life where nobody knows them at. While everybody deserves a second chance at life, but for some people, the things they did in the dark, when they come to the light, it changes everything people thought they knew about them and exposes the secrets and thoughts they have tried to pretend wasn't there and buried for years. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Georgia to discuss the case of a traffic stop that revealed the man's 28-year secret he thought he got away with. Back in 2022, a man who went by the name Reyes Sakin was trying his best to live a quiet life and stay under the radar. Reyes had built a decent life for himself, a family, a circle of friends, but the man moved like somebody who had a lot to lose or didn't want his past to come back and haunt him. He watched who he talked around, the people he let in. He often would relocate to different states. For the people in his life, they just thought he was real private. But on a hot summer day in August 2022, Reyes would have to revisit his past and a dark secret he kept buried in the back of his mind. It all started when police in Oconee County, Georgia were doing routine traffic stops, checking for license and insurance. Reyes pulled up to the check. He told authorities he was in a rush and nervously asked could he go ahead and pass because he had family who was waiting on him. Police told him they just needed his license and registration and he could go ahead on his way. He handed over a South Carolina driver's license with his name on it. As police ran the license, it was suspended. Police told the man he would need to come to the station just to be fingerprinted and get a court date for driving on a suspended license. In a panic, he begged police to just give him a citation, pleading with them he had a family to get home to and stated he wasn't a criminal. But police told the man they had to follow protocol, in which Reyes nervously put his hands behind his back and got ready to go down to the station. But to understand why would a man be so bothered by a petty charge like driving on a suspended license, we would have to go back 28 years prior to the A, Atlanta, Georgia in 1994. Reyes, who went by a different name back then, Muhammad Al-Amin, was a young man living in what some describe as the old Atlanta, when the music scene was popping, Freaknik was still in full effect, and the A was the place to be. Also living in the city at the time was another young man, 18-year-old Jaffer Tucker. Coming from a loving family, just trying to make his way in the world, Jaffer had big dreams of making it big in the Atlanta music scene. and months earlier, him and Muhammad had met. The two instantly became close. The two friends would often hang out and rotate through the city together. On November 27th, 1994, this day was no different. The two linked up and were at the MARTA train station in Atlanta. As the two friends chopped it up, it was early in the day, before 1 p.m. As everyone waited on the train to come, a shot went off and people scattered. When Atlanta police were called to the scene, they responded and found the man suffering from a gunshot wound to the face. He was unfortunately pronounced gone on the scene and identified as 18-year-old Jaffer Tucker. Before the day and times of camera phones and places having HD cameras everywhere, police had very little to go on other than a few witness statements. They stated a man Jaffer was talking to shot him in the face and ran. As the news got back to the young man's family, they were devastated. When asked if they had any information or did he tell them where he was going that day, they stated out with his friend Muhammad. When asked about the man, he matched the description of the alleged shooter. Everybody claimed they saw running from the scene, but Muhammad was MIA. As time went by, Jaffer's family waited for answers, but the case would go cold. Years would pass, and Muhammad was the main suspect in his friend's homicide. By 2001, he was added to the FBI's fugitive list and was wanted. In 2006, Jaffer's mother unfortunately passed away without getting justice for her son. But now, fast forward back to 2022, Reyes was hoping to keep his identity a secret during his traffic stop. But as he was taken in for fingerprints for driving on suspended, his real name came back: Muhammad Bilal Al-Amin. Police were shocked to see he was on the run for 28 years for a homicide. Muhammad's charges quickly were upgraded, and a few months later, he was indicted for the slaying of his friend. As Jaffer's family got the news, they were happy that now they could finally get some kind of closure and justice after almost 30 years. His uncle described him as a happy, outgoing young man who didn't make no enemies and only wanted to make music. He stated he had only knew Muhammad for a few months, and he wanted to know what did his nephew do so bad for the man to take his life. As of now, this case hasn't made its way to trial yet, and Muhammad is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Jaffer. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. It was only alleged Muhammad was the trigger man, but if he did knock his homie off, that's crazy. Nobody knows a motive after all these years. In my mind, if I'm on the run for a hit and it's been years, I'm gone. I'm out the country because there's no statute of limitation on a homicide. 28 years later, just to get jammed up, only an hour and a half away from Atlanta on a driving on suspended is crazy. But like we was talking about earlier, people bury things so far in the back of their mind and try to forget. Probably to Muhammad, he really felt he was Reyes, the family man who never had been arrested or broken any laws. But that traffic stop brought him back to reality. But I want to leave this one open for discussion. I want to know y'all thoughts on the situation. Leave it in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, this is a super crazy one. Rest in peace, that young man. Crazy situation, but I ain't gonna talk too much more about this. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.